Good Thursday morning, social media friends. Welcome to today's episode of Selling That House. Thank you for joining me and my guest, who is kind enough to share her time, her knowledge, and her entertainment skills with you and me today. So, with that said, let's start the conversation in this way. For today's episode, my guest, like maybe many of you, made the decision to make this big move from her previous primary home to her current primary home. And let's get real with each other. Making that kind of move is a big project. It does take effort. It can be disruptive. And so as part of having her in the conversation today, my hope, and perhaps your hope, is that you might pick up a few things as part of maybe your plans to make a big move because of a life event that you'll walk away with and say, oh my gosh, she's talking my language. I need to connect with her, and maybe along the way, you'll get some tips also. So all of that being said, let me now tease you with where we are going to engage and bring in my guest today. We're going to fly down to the Sunshine State of Florida, and specifically, we're going to try to connect with Sherri, who now lives in Naples, right? Now, all of that being said, let's make sure she's ready. So let me tap on her door and get her ready to join the conversation. All right, I think she's ready. Sherri, how are you?
Hello, I am wonderful. I've never been greeted like that, so that was fun. Thank you.
Did you like a little bit of the animation movie files just to get you all warmed up?
Absolutely. And of course, we've got kind of a reputation down here. We do have regular people and people that are, of a working class. But as your plane showed, we do also have private pilots, as you and I talked about, and all kinds of things here in Naples. So that was pretty good.
True. So with that introduction and getting you kind of jazzed up, ready to do your thing.
Yep.
Let's really warm you up to talk about the business that you're in, and that is real estate. Can you share with our audience what is going on with real estate? Because we both know real estate is very local. What's going on in the Naples, Florida market? Is it a balanced market? Is it still tilted towards sellers? Talk to us about that.
So we have been in a spot since 2020, but certainly 2021, where we had almost 3 solid years of crazy prices, things almost doubling, sellers demanding and getting whatever they wanted. Some people referred to it as unicorn money. And that is, when I heard an agent say that, I thought, oh, God, I don't really ever want to be involved in unicorn money, because we want the values to be there for the assets people are really buying, right?
Sure.
So we have had that situation because tons of people were coming down to this area. I'm specifically Southwest Florida. And we now have a spot that, 5 years ago, the median price would have been $335, and it's now $625.
Wow.
If you are in Naples, they can go from certain parts of Naples, which people don't understand. I used to be a teacher, so my heart's always in it. We have people in Naples who are barely making a living, which people don't hear. What they hear is everybody with money is in Naples. There are a lot of people because we have one of the largest retirement communities of founders, billionaire founders in the country in Naples. So we have this mix of things. However, we are finally at a place that the prices are coming down a little bit, which has been tough to bring them. And buyers kind of saying, we're not going to just pay everything you've expected. So it's been a little bit painful for some sellers to come off this. However, We have seen things that haven't happened before, so it's exciting. Those super high prices, we have some people that have come down $100,000 because the prices were so,
Wow.
inflated. However,
Okay.
we have other reasons that certain people are going that can be a nice opportunity. Florida is one where people do come and go. So there's people that live here full time. There's people that come down for periods of time, meaning I'm going to come for a few years, have a great time, and then I'm going back by my family or whatever. We have
Mm.
snowbirds, right? And then we
Hmm.
also have people that are aging out. And so those things are really good for buyers because they then give us an opportunity to have assets where other parts of the country are low in inventory. We
Yeah.
right now, for the first time after those crazy 3 years, we've got some pretty nice options right now. And that's a phenomenal thing because it has been really difficult. And the only hard thing I'll plant a seed here for, especially for what you do, most people don't realize 60% are cash buyers in this area.
Yeah.
What that creates is a difficulty in sellers expecting, well, I'm not taking someone then with a loan. Excuse me, some incredibly intelligent people use a mortgage as a tool, as you know, whether they
Yeah.
need it or they just want to use it as the tool. So
Right.
right now we're in a good spot to help sellers see that we should be accepting people that have a mortgage that just need to go through that period of time where they were spoiled for 3 years. Was, I don't have to do that. I'm cash. You do what I say. We're done. Right. Well, the market gets a teeny bit more competitive, which is a good thing. And it's not
Yeah.
quite balanced, but it's a little bit, almost about here for buyers. Um,
Yeah.
that creates a good situation where we agents and lenders can help teach them. You could have somebody amazing that's phenomenal. They've got a good loan source. This isn't going to be an issue for you. We just need to give them a chance and you will be sold. And
Yeah.
so we're in that stage of they are now opening their mind to, oh, okay, good people need a loan or want a loan. And that's a great thing from where we've been the last 3 years that we're my way or the highway. And that's not
Yeah.
a good thing. It's not a great thing for lawsuits or anything else. So
True. True. Yeah. I'm still of the mindset that a balanced market is much healthier
absolutely.
for our business because right now certainly certainly from the sound of it, not locally in Naples, Florida, but in other large metropolitan
Yes,
areas.
definitely.
So Chicago, for example, being one, other big Midwest metropolitans, it's still a market where it's tilted towards sellers, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And perhaps as I say this, share this with you, you might nod your head, chuckle a little bit, and
Right.
that is for that type of market when it's inventory tight,
Mhm.
multiple buyer offers. I describe it in the way of Sherry. It's kind of like the game of musical chairs. There's only
100%.
right.
100%.
There's only so many chairs on the floor. A lot of people walking around the chairs. Someone's not going to get the chair.
Mhm.
And you and I, right? We're back to square two with that person who's looking for the right chair.
And that's really the point. It's really not so much about you and I. You and I are the advocate, the support, the helper, and we work and we don't get paid until we're done with we do, we work up front for nothing until we can get them in there. It's for the
Right.
consumer. And the
Right.
seller may think they don't care. So I am really still very tied to Wisconsin, my home state. My youngest
Ah,
child is in Chicago, not far from where you're at.
right.
Um, it matters of these multiple offers and what's going on. The seller may not think they care at this minute, but it will eventually affect you once your family member or an employee that you want to hire can't live where you need them to be and
Yeah.
things like that. So
True.
it does matter. And a balanced market is better for everybody. And you
Yeah.
never know when it's going to turn around and bite you, seller. Uh, uh,
True. True. Very true. Very true. So we'll come back and close today's live stream conversation talking about what you and I do and why relationships matter. So we'll come back to that in a second.
okay.
But let's now pivot the conversation to you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
as part of your move, you hinted at it.
Yeah.
You used to live up in Wisconsin. As part of your move from the upper Midwest to Sunshine State, Florida, what are some things that have surprised you, Sherri?
So I've learned a ton, right? I'm a very much Midwest mom. So I kept my house in Wisconsin, as a lot of people do, for 3 years. So I
Okay.
kept my house up there and then also got a place here and went back and forth. And I Airbnb'd my Wisconsin house because I had 3 kids in college at the same time. And a lot of people do that where they have 2 homes, where they're doing both pieces. The things that surprised me in the beginning down here were there are not as many people full time down here. So it is
Oh,
very much, I love my neighbors. You're a ton of fun. I'm excited to see you. Oh, now I'm sad you're leaving, because so it's this. And I hadn't expected that. In the Midwest, my neighbors were by me for 15 years, and we watched our kids get raised and whatever else. Not
right.
every community is like that. So most developments down here can have anywhere from 23% full time to
Mm,
maybe some of the highest we see is 30. So
wow.
it's a lifestyle difference that I really had no clue about. Some
Okay.
of that can be fun. Like some people will say to me, sure, yeah, but when I get tired of that person, I'm okay because they're leaving. And then my next
Uh,
couple are coming in, right?
that's right. You're always making new friends.
Yes. So in the beginning, the things that surprised me were just, I wasn't as familiar of why are there so many gated communities here? So a lot of the developments have a security gate in front and whatever else. Now I understand a lot of
Mm,
that is because we do need to protect the property, protect the people, as a lot of people are coming and going and that type of thing, so it
yeah.
can end up to be a good one. My surprise was, and I now work with a lot of my buyers on this, of do you want a development where there are these fees and niceties and they're doing your yard and you've got the pool and you've got the resort style, or would you rather go out to Cape Coral as example, where you don't have all of those HOA fees and whatever, and it's much less expensive. You get to do more of what you want, more of what you're used to in the Midwest, let's say.
Sure.
Those are some surprises. And the other thing I would just have people understand in Florida, the sunshine's phenomenal. This is what's going to happen eventually. So I'm going to tell you something funny that nobody else will tell you. It's not really
Uh-oh.
about real estate. All right. So in
Okay.
Wisconsin, the joke is I've been an entrepreneur so long, I don't know what day it is, like, is it Monday or Friday or Saturday? I don't know. But when you're down here long enough, because it's sunshine every day, you will eventually not know, oh gosh, what day is it, whatever, but then you don't know what week it is. So I mean, a month it is, sorry, month. So I used to not know the day, then I don't know the week, and then now I really don't even know the month, because
Okay.
the only one I could sort of tell is December, because we have a teeny cold snap for a little bit, because you have the same weather every day. So
Right.
you will just end up in this thing where every day you can go out without a coach, you can golf, you can go outside, music and dinner and whatever it is you might want to do. And the biggest thing I would tell them that I was so surprised about is I had almost 20 years in real estate before I came down here. And as a associate broker, I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do real estate here because it's so different. That's the part I would give a heads up to buyers about, is that it operates very differently.
Really?
These oh my gosh, these associations and homeowners documents and all of that are incredibly different. So if you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing, it can end up to be quite a legal and financial big piece if you don't know what you're doing, would be some of the biggest things that I would say, because there are an awful lot of fees and disclosures. We're a buyer beware state.
Yeah.
That's very different.
Yeah.
So that's the part that I would just say to think about having professionals, even if you've done this a lot of times, because it is very different. But for the most part, it is a fun time. I enjoy it. There's a lot of adults down here. My kids love to come visit, right? So it's a lot of fun to be able to have people.
Hmm.
And I think for a lot of people, it's a good choice of lifestyle and real estate, where then you hold it as long as you want and you let it go when you're ready,
Yeah. Yeah. And you always have the option, just like you described, you always have the option when you're maintaining 2 properties, you can Airbnb, short-term rental, one or the other, depending
Yes.
on the season, right?
Yes. Yes. And I
Yeah.
was wanting to keep them both. And then for a lot of people, this is exactly what happens, whether it is financial or not. Sometimes it gets to be too much. And then people
Yeah.
are like, I got to get down to one. Well, then you get down to one and then you're like, oh, but I miss it there. So do I want to go back there, or what do I do? So those things happen.
Well,
But
have you picked up a new hobby that you now are looking at yourself and say, hey, I couldn't do this in Wisconsin. Love doing it now. Is there a new hobby that you picked up?
Well, I'll tell you my anti-hobby, unfortunately, I had to let go the other way first, and that was
Uh,
paddleboarding. I love paddleboarding in the Midwest. And
okay.
down here we have alligators. And I actually
Yes,
had a
we do.
14-foot alligator at my last home, right outside my door, who loved to come greet me, which was a little bit. So I don't paddleboard down here anymore.
Okay.
Pickleball is, of course, the biggest sport down here. I actually don't pickleball. I'm trying to
No?
save my knees. I hear from people it ends up being hard on your knees. So I'm going to be a nerd and save my knees on the pickleball. More of the hobby I've gotten into is actually switching into some commercial real estate. And just the
yes.
interest of that. And so that's how I actually have met some of these pilots you and I were talking about.
Right.
You know, we have a lot of people that fly in here for business, whether they're doing business here or wanting to find it to do it elsewhere in the country. And so that's been fun for me to learn different pieces of that and network with so many people, particularly on LinkedIn, so many different people I've met in business that are interested in both residential and commercial. That is just a whole genre I never thought I would do, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, LinkedIn, I think, is the greatest equalizer of distance, time, and even languages, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you get LinkedIn requests from people from outside of the US. They're multi-bilingual. So yeah, that's been a fun process at
Yes.
times.
And I am not the multi, so I always have to say I am certified in international global business, and I'm on the global business committee for Naples Area Board of Realtors. I love all of that, and why I did that was we have 29% international here.
Yeah.
So we have a large population, and I wanted to be respectful, but I'm not the one that has the multiple languages anymore or the international travel. I'm just the courteous one here. So
Yeah.
I'm always happy to learn or try to be respectful, right, of other people teaching me. But I think I always look at LinkedIn as I have met people I never would have met in my entire lifetime.
True, true. And the way I look at it, Sherri, is for those opportunities that require bilingual, multilingual resources, just do this. I got people.
Yes, yes. And I need people, and it's the greatest to have people, right? It's wonderful.
Yeah. As we now shift our live stream conversation to the last part, I want to ask you for your opinion, maybe shed some light on what I call collaborative relationships that are so important in both of our businesses. Can you share some examples of what are some great collaborative relationships?
Yes. So for me, this is my absolute favorite. So my favorite is to do anything collaborative because it's so amazing when you can pull talents together and be able to create something. I am not at all a micromanaged type of personality or any of those kind of things. So for me, I really hadn't intended this collaboration stuff when I came down here. However, that's very much what's come out of it. So I still stay very connected, obviously, to the Midwest and my different type of people there. Right now, actually, I'm working on a project we're imagining at this minute in the Midwest.
Okay.
I'll say exactly where it is because I'm coming up with the concept of this. It's land we're going to redevelop into independent living, multifamily, and a certain kind of villas. Okay. And it's by the waterfront, and I'm trying to come up with a name of the However, here's the collaboration. So the original person has got the land and 3 medical buildings there that originally were there. I then go find my people who I've met over these years of who's an investor. That one happens to be out in California. I need another one who happens to be in the UK. I have a builder in I'll say Des Moines, Iowa. And I'm pulling those people together to go, can we create something here to be able to sell this situation, right?
Yeah. Sell this lifestyle, sell the vision of, from what I'm hearing, kind of like multi-generational living.
It could possibly be, yes, and retail and medical and things like that. Other collaborations are people come to me all the time with, we've got this project, we're needing funding, like I talked to you about, or it is, Sherri, how could we create a need for an example in Lee County or Collier County, and how do we find the people that we'd like to bring into this area? Like one of the things we really are wanting here is medical tourism.
Yeah.
So who are those medical tourists? And we will help you find, and so will the county work with me, the economic department, to find you the right land, get the building built, get the, and so those are collaborations. But everything I do in collaboration is not real estate. So for me, I'm a huge humanist. My collaborations on pieces outside of real estate, you can see I do on my page, are just, gosh, you know, you needed a tip or a something on that, and it happened to be personal development. I'm happy to do that. Or you just need somebody in your day that will help spread some sunshine, and I need that too. You know,
Yeah,
those,
so true.
I am just a very collaborative spirit, and I am not this, you got to lose so I can win, ever.
Yeah, that's never fun when it's a zero-sum game. It's a short-lived relationship. When it's collaborative, you know, great things happen, and great things
Absolutely.
happen repeatedly.
Yes.
So as part of you sharing your time with me, audience members, if you haven't connected with Sherri St Marie on LinkedIn, find her. By the way, I'm going to give you a hint. It's very easy to find her. I immediately got drawn to her digital presence, some of her content. Well, all of her content span
Okay. Some of
futility.
it's crazy.
Yeah, but hey, it's not crazy.
You got to keep it
It's
interesting.
entertaining. It's entertaining.
Thank you.
It's entertaining. It's serious. It's thought provoking.
Thank
And
you.
that's what kind of drew me to connect with you. So as we wrap up today, thank you for sharing your time. Thank you for sharing your time in the live stream conversation.
I love to live. That's the most fun. You know why? Because it's real, and it gets some adrenaline going, and it's exciting, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So
Right.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate that you do that. And thank you for the invitation to contribute, because I think that's fantastic, and I really appreciate doing that.
Yeah, thank you. So audience members, just like Sherri said, the local real estate market in Florida is getting more balanced. And maybe, just maybe, you're not that 60% of buyers who are choosing to use cash with your purchase. And if that's the case, if you certainly need the services of a great real estate broker like Sherri and myself along the way, because you decide, hey, I want to finance my next
Yes.
real estate transaction in Naples, Florida, or thereabouts nearby, all you have to do as part of what you're looking at right now is scan the QR code, start a conversation with me. I look forward to determining how best to help you. So Sherri, as we wrap up, enjoy your daily sunshine regimen.
I'm going out to the pool with a neighbor. This is what happens.
Good for you. But by the way, up here
Yeah.
today, our morning, we had like below 40-degree weather. So that's why I'm in a long sleeve shirt.
Listen, I'm very much a Wisconsinite, so I
Yeah.
totally get that. And my biggest swing in a day back and forth between the two was I left here at 98 degrees in flip-flops, forgot to put shoes on, got to the airport and to Georgia going back into Wisconsin, and it was minus 20 below. So
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
used to that, right?
Good
And
for
we
you.
appreciate it everywhere. But what I appreciate about you and I are very much the same in that we're huge advocates for our consumer.
Yeah.
And for our people. And so for me, mine is not ever about myself first or whatever. It is about, I'm here and have a responsibility to who we are serving. And then how do we advocate hard for them? And if that seller for some reason is not being reasonable, then that situation is not in their best interest, you know,
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
just stay with that and we figure out, how do we get to the happy part, right? Of they get that home or they get that, you know, commercial funding, you know, with you or whatever. And that's the part that I think consumers really need people for, of just good human beings doing good work and looking out for the good of what people need right now in a very fast changing market and industry.
Yeah, it is. It is. Thank you for dropping that last part as great reminders. Audience members, you heard it from Sherri. If what she has shared with you, if our conversation resonates with you, if you haven't connected with either one of us, both of us, do it today. All you got to do is go to LinkedIn, find us, connect with us. And lastly, give us your emoticon as to how you've enjoyed today's live stream. That's it for now, audience members, until we see each other in the next episode of Selling That House. Have a good day.
Thank you.